Hey guys, it's Pierre, and in this video I want to talk about wireframes and what are the best practices which you should use for working with either startups or even large enterprise companies, because there's going to be some topics which are going to essentially make you change the way that you work based on the type of client that you're working with. So let's get started. And this is a question which I received from one of the students in my recent Figma course, which you can find in the link in the description. It's over 9-hour course which I created over the past year, so I really put my heart and soul into this. So if you really want to bring your Figma design skills to the next level, feel free to check it out. But going back to the actual original topic, what I wanted to discuss is this question of how I should use wireframes within the design process. And the answer varies on both your personal design workflow, but what is most convenient for the client. So what I do in my typical process is I'm going to leverage wireframes as a way to communicate with the client about what is the basic idea around a specific landing page, dashboard screen, or anything in between really. So wireframes you can leverage either UI kits like this one. So you're going to find all sorts of different visuals which are pre-created, and these UI kits, I really enjoy them for landing page design more than dashboard design, because dashboard design is more intricate. So it's usually easier for me to literally just create a base around these lines. So I'm literally going to create this on the fly, and just starting to mock up, for example, here on the side I'm going to have the site menu. Here we're maybe going to have a title, and you can reduce the size of these in order to make them more granular, and you can communicate that here we're going to have a description, and these are all things which are going to be really helpful to note down from a high level even before you work on the actual design. And the reason being is that you don't want to create a pixel perfect screen, invest maybe like 2, 4, 6, 8 hours creating this amazing looking dashboard with the perfect drop shadows and the color palette which just is outstanding, and then receive the feedback from the client that hey, this is actually not the direction that we want to work with. We actually just want this to be minimized because here on the right side we want to give a lot of emphasis to this element. So creating wireframes is essentially a shortcut to communicate a visual concept in an efficient way. So this is pretty much all that wireframes are about. And one thing that I like to do is, because sometimes creating these lo-fi wireframes is really not enough for the client to understand what is the logic behind some of the decisions that you're making. What I like to do is to add, for example, some text which is going to be descriptive of the section. So for example, over here I'm thinking that there's going to be description text, and I can literally write description text, and over here I can write headline. Sometimes this is needed, sometimes this is you can literally just understand it from context, but you can essentially utilize both text and visuals in order to communicate a concept really in depth. So for example, if I need to note down some bullet points here, I have the ability to do so. I can maybe like stretch them horizontally in this case, but you get the point. And this is going to be very useful in order for you to communicate some concepts, and you can use visuals, just this one, like, hey, I'm going to actually go ahead and create a graph around this concept right here, and you see the point by now. Like, you can easily leverage wireframes in order to communicate something in a very fast way, and this is so much faster than creating the actual UI design. And then once you have the approval from the client that tells you, hey, this is actually perfect, let's go with this solution, you can then go ahead and invest all the time to create the perfect visuals which you are capable of doing. Now that you followed all of my tutorials and other courses online, you're in that position, so you can easily jump right into it. And alternatively, again, you can create something around these lines, which is almost like freestyling, if you wish, or you can utilize one of these UI kits. Now, my recommendation is if you're going to use a UI kit, which is a total viable option, especially because the benefit of UI kits is that you're going to have all sorts of components pre-built, so you don't even have to spend time into creating them. And there's also going to be a level of consistency which is harder to achieve when it comes to something around these lines. I mean, you can even pre-build some of these yourself, but why waste the time? So you can easily opt for that option if you find a UI kit which is big enough and that is not too difficult to navigate, because one of the issues that I have with some of these Wireframes UI kits is first of all, they're too complex and it's difficult to find the components which I am intending in using, and that's one. And then secondarily, some of them are so heavily nested with auto layouts which are connected to the design system and so on and so forth, but with its own logic. So it's like each and every designer is thinking about the design system and the auto layout in its own way. So sometimes it's hard to simply decipher what's going on, and this takes more time because you then, if you need to create, say, variations of a specific component, then that is going to require more time than it would to, simply going with this approach where you're creating a quick wireframe fast. And again, the goal here for the wireframe is not to make it pretty. Of course, you want to, something like this looks better than something that we created on the fly, but you can easily adjust this and make it look more pretty. It's just to give you a basic understanding of what's going on and how you can leverage essentially these tools, and then you can create your own. You can even leverage a wireframe kit which has just the components, so you don't even have the full build pages like in this case, but you simply have components which you can then drag and drop into your canvas and convey this to your clients. So this is pretty much it for this video. If you have any specific questions about wireframes, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I will do my best to get back to you.